Quiet.
I know your feelings are hurt.
Hit that mute button, Liar. Okay, all right. It's my bad. Just hit the mute button, please. Can you hit that mute button, brother? You're hot micing.
My hands are full. Hold on.
Can you just hit the? Yeah, thank you, brother.
My hands are full.
You hit the mute button when you came off, right? So you can hit it then. So you can hit it now to go back on. Just go ahead and mute, brother.
I'm about to do it.
Yo, kid, you know he in his feelings when you do the same. When you interrupt him or hold him to task, he get in his feelings.
Yeah, he does.
Thank you, Alessandro. Yeah, man. So what's so crazy? Coincidentally, we were having a conversation tonight about Darwinian evolution, right? Neo-Darwinian evolution.
Yep.
And he used that whole peer review thing. Oh, you know what's so crazy? You know when you ask somebody a question and they don't directly answer the question at all, and I start going into a lecture about peer review and why I like peer review, and I'm like, oh, this, oh my God, I'm trying to, King, we gotta be elders in this young man's life. I know, get out of this bullshit. But it's so hard. The niggas that need the most help are the most fucking.
They're the hardest to deal with.
Yeah,
fucking hardest to deal with. I know exactly what you're saying. It's funny because that is the call next. So you heard me call next, King. You heard me call next.
My bad. Go ahead.
Right. So all I'm saying is like, if there's anything like, because I'm working on a project, right? I'm like actually doing shit on the computer right now. But
you do shit on the computer right now,
right? So can you?
That's why his hands were full.
So all I'm saying is,
what kind of shit were you doing?
All I'm saying is right. So all I'm saying is like, if I'm chilling and then you call me off mute to say like you have this criticism, I'm curious. What is something you disagree with me about? And let's just like take turns talking to gain clarity on who's actually correct or who's making a better case. Right? Would you like to do that? It's like, what is?
What do you think?
So
what do you think you make? Look. So do this. What do you think?
Concrete, you're breaking up, bro. Yeah, he's in the Matrix.
That you wanted to. Why is he sound exasperated? He sounds like he's lifting. He sounds like he's lifting like heavy weights and he can't handle the pressure. So whatever topic you feel very comfortable with,
you cut out for the last 20 seconds.
Alessandro, whatever topic you feel comfortable with, you go ahead and bring that forward and we can discuss it. If I'm familiar with the topic. So what do you feel strong about? Like, what are you confident on? You remember what Rayaba just did with that scripture? Where do you think you can demonstrate your depth of knowledge in the way that he just did his depth of knowledge? What do you?
Well, shit, there's several subjects. I mean, we could just run back the evolution thing. We could get into the theories of time. I don't know if.
Okay, great.
I don't know what your theories of time are.
Great. I don't care about the theories of time. So go ahead and tell us the A theory or the B theory in case you're wondering. I don't care. So just go ahead and tell us about evolution and why you think it's. If it sounds, listen here, I'm gonna tell you. If it sounds like just a very superficial regurgitation of something we've all heard, then we'll just know that you're a good parent and not somebody who's actually thought about it and gone in depth with it. So,
right. So I think that the theory of evolution, especially like neo-Darwinian evolution, is going to be compelling to me for several reasons. I take into consideration the findings of archaeologists. And I also take into consideration the findings of anthropologists, which seem to indicate that life has evolved on the planet over the course of millions of years. This is also corroborated and substantiated by the findings of geologists, right, who study the various rock layers within the earth, and they can see, like, okay, on the deeper levels, we seem to see and observe the deeper levels of fossils, right? We see less complex life forms. And we also see a degree of homogeneity across particular types of animals, right? So like within one layer, we will see a homogeneity regarding the proliferation of reptiles, right? And then later in time, we'll see the emergence of mammals, right? And so we can see that within the layers of the rock, within the earth itself, there seems to be a story of life that's being told, right? And then I think that when we look at genetic analysis, I think this is also one of the most compelling aspects to me. Now, I understand many of us here may not appreciate the utility of a genetic analysis, but I do take it to be the case that we can analyze the DNA of species and find out which they're more closely related to. For instance, human beings are more closely genetically related to other great apes, other great apes such as the chimpanzee and the gorilla, than we are to, like, say, a starfish, right? And so this is something that you would expect intuitively, right? So like when you just were to look at two animals and guess which ones are closer on the evolutionary tree, it does make sense, and you can see it through genetic analysis, right? I think that additionally, when we look at the animals that are capable of crossbreeding, they're typically going to be more genetically similar and share a common ancestor more recently. For instance, when we look at horses interbreeding with donkeys, with donkeys, they can create a mule, right? Why is that? Because horses and donkeys share a common ancestor. You see what I'm saying? And so they can come together and reproduce, even though they're completely different species. Now, I think that also seems to be the case, because if we were to look at let's just take a random creation story like God snaps his fingers and all the animals exist. I wouldn't expect different species to be able to interbreed because they would be completely unrelated under that model. But because they're literally related, they can reproduce, right? So I think that it's going to be like genetic analysis, genetic compatibility, genetic similarity. It's going to be geology. It's going to be archaeology. It's going to be our understanding of the various cavemen, right? You have the evolution of hominids, right? We can consider Homo erectus, right? And then we also have Homo neanderthalis. And then later on, we start to see human beings, right? So the earliest fossils of anatomically modern humans are going to be about between 200 and 300,000 years old, right? And so it does also make sense that we would see human beings as one of the youngest species of mammals on Earth, right? So for instance, lions have existed for 2 million years, but human beings have only existed for less than 250,000 years, right? And that's why it seems to be like we found ourselves in this world that's full of ancient animals and like we ask ourselves, how did we get here, right? So I think like evolution is substantiated through an interdisciplinary process of discovery that I think underpins the foundations of our grasp on biology in the most real sense.
Well,
right?
What do you
So I think like if there's anything
what do you mean by compatibility? Like you brought that up earlier, whatever. Like I get what you're saying. Like yeah, like we come from.
That's not the right question right now, bro.
No. I was just curious on what he meant by that, because like I've never heard it was.
All right, can you explain what you mean by compatibility, Alessandro, so that I can start? Wait, before we go to that, was anybody impressed with that presentation?
No, he was right.
Anybody? I was not. All right, I'm back. Was anybody impressed the same way we were impressed by what Rayaba said? Was anybody impressed with what he just said?
No, he was absolutely correct what he was saying. Like, yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody?
It's a
attempting to impress or state the facts, and keep in mind who is Rayaba impressing. I mean,
Rayaba impressed everybody that went. I'm sorry, Don, if you don't know what's going on. Rayaba just did
going on? You're bullshitting.
Rayaba, okay, all right. That's that motherly instinct kicking in. You see something, your bambino getting fucking beat the shit up, and you're like, oh, I gotta save my baby.
I was just in a room, and I was like relaxing there, and then El Normo came there, and I had to run away.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I asked that is because, like, of course, yeah.
The Africans run from El Normo the Great.
The only fools that we do share DNA with is apes.
Why is your audio so low?
The what?
Your mic's kind of low sometimes.
All right, goddamn, I can't finish.
So, Sugar Baby, do you believe in neo-Darwinian evolution?
Do I believe in what?
Neo-Darwinian evolution.
How is it? What is that? And how is it different from your regular? How is it different from your regular Darwinian?
Darwin didn't know about genetics.
There you go. It's that
so. So they had to include that into their theory.
Yes,
In order to make it like, more contemporary. So have you?
And that's where the debate is.
Is it not just basically like the improvements on like Darwin's theory of evolution?
Well,
where
they
like
tried to force the compatibility.
so it's basically understanding like the mechanism by which it happens.
Well, and we'll get into that, but yes, that's essentially sugar belly, and it's okay if you don't know what it is or blah blah blah, or just accept it as like
I don't
hey.
know it under that name, but what
Right.
I'm saying is like obviously between the time of like Darwin proposing his theory and like now, like all of the science in that field has basically been trying to understand the various mechanisms by which it happens, right?
Yes, and they've been trying to take Darwin's, because the thing is, when you actually go look at what Darwin believed, there are a lot, and I can tell, respectfully, Alessandro, this is what Concrete is trying to get at. I can tell you haven't actually read what Darwin has actually said, his actual views, versus what they tried to now superimpose using his lens on what we're seeing with the data. Because the data is not corroborating. The data is not affirming Darwin's original view. It is not.
That's why I say the neo-Darwinian
see the video that Trump put out with allegedly Trump put out with the animals or whatnot?
Which one? Oh, we're
Tell me that wasn't true. Tell me that wasn't true.
That was clear evolutionary.
Calm down, you Latino. It's a Latino.
That's clear evolutionary proof.
It's some racist ass Latino here.
Wait, hold on, God. Sugar Belly, what was your question?
I asked him a question, bro. Can you let him answer?
I did. Are you listening? Nigga, are you listening? I literally just gave you. Oh my God. I did research.
So one of contention is right. What I'm saying is like it's
Why can't y'all have fun? It's freaking Saturday,
No, I'm just saying that even if some scientific discoveries showing that certain things don't agree with like Darwin's original theories or whatever it is. I mean, that is, that can be a possibility too, right? Because at the time that he propounded this theory, nobody knew about DNA. So, again, I think that broadly, the point is that broadly he was on the right track, right, compared to Lamarck. Right, Lamarck's theory was that you acquire certain traits as a result of activities, and then you can pass on the traits that are acquired. And we know that that's not possible, right? Whereas in the case of Darwin, his theory was that traits arise at random, and then through environmental like pressure are selected for, in terms of means of like survival to like reproduce the next generation, and over time that's what happens, and that is broadly what happens, right? Even if he didn't have
They kicked me, sons of bitches, motherfuckers. Let's keep it banging.
You ain't never seen no woman in your family. Like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta go back to what the fuck you was seeing in your family. You can't tell me that love don't exist. All the bitches in my family is married. And I ain't talking about married and sleeping in other rooms. They married and still going on trips and shit. They 70. So it's like, I don't believe all that shit. The young people in my family, they getting married. The girls in my family, they not all baby mamas. There's a lot of them who with their baby daddy. They got families and they got 3 kids and it's all for one man and they've been together since high school. I see that shit every fucking day in my real life. So I don't get wrapped up in this internet shit because I'm living on the side of the internet that everybody be trying to pretend like they on anyway. So I don't know. I don't get wrapped up in that shit. People need to get in their Bibles. They need to get closer to the Lord. They need to get their feet planted on the ground. People need to read some books.
And talk to their grandmamas and granddaddies.
If they are blessed to still have them people in their life.
Man, talk to the elders in your family, yo. For real.
Man, the coldest thing an older person ever told me was live some more. And I...
They think it's a literal mark. I don't see why, but it definitely says John was taken up in the spirit and shown spiritual things. But, you know, whatever.
Spiritual things Ezekiel seen?
Yeah, absolutely.
All praises, brother. Ezekiel 8.
Unless it was really happening, unless it was really happening at that moment, then yes, it was spiritual. Now, we know it wasn't happening at that moment, Saint. It was a future vision, right?
Facts. Ezekiel 8.
Of course I can, brother. You know I got your back. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 18 and verse 3. No, this is 8 and 3, my bad. Ezekiel chapter 8 and verse 3. It says, and he put forth the hand and took me by a lock of mine head, and the Spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven, and brought me in the visions of God to Jerusalem, to the door of the inner gate that looketh toward the north, where was the seat of the image of jealousy, which provoketh to jealousy.
Is this the same context as the next chapter, brother?
Of course.
All praise.
It's still the same vision. You know what was crazy though? I was reading in Ezekiel today where God took Ezekiel in the spirit and showed him the elders inside of God's temple worshiping idols. Inside of God's temple, they were worshiping images of serpents and creeping things and animals, bro. I was like, wow, they disrespectful. They put the idols inside of God's temple, bro. Hell nah.
Hey, TJ, was them heathens or Israelites?
Hey, them was IUIC's forefathers.
That's great.
It was fringes everywhere, Saint. I'm telling you. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. What you mean, bro? It don't say that inkhorn marked the people. Come on, dog. This is insane.
No. I said he got a point, and I'm looking at it because it says that he has an inkhorn. That's what he used to mark these people. And he says at the end of the chapter that that's what was at his side after he completed his assignment, the inkhorn.
No, it says a writer's inkhorn, meaning he's writing something down. He's documenting something.
Oh, so you know what? And that's what I said in the beginning.
God.
No. I said that.
What do you mean, good
he was
God?
taking a note of the people. He was taking a note of the people because that was how they earned the mark. That's how they basically was placed on like a list.
So,
like the Lamb's Book
so
of Life.
hold on a second. It's like having your name.
Like the Lamb's Book of Life.
Hold on,
I mean,
real
it's making
quick,
more
yeah.
sense than how you say it now, TJ. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I
Like
almost got
in the new, hold on, Hannah,
I almost got gagged up in here. They tried to gag me today.
In the New Testament, according to the Bible, hold on real quick. Saint Rebel, according to the Bible, in Revelation chapter, hold on a second. In Revelation chapter 7, it says, hurt not the earth and the wind and the trees until you have sealed the servants of God in their foreheads, right?
Yes.
And that would be the placing of a mark.
Yes.
I've been saying this.
And that mark would have been the Holy Spirit, right?
That's right. It's not a...
But there was no actual marking on them, right? The mark was the blood of Christ.
Because it was done by spiritual beings, nigga.
Oh, bro, come on, bro. Hey, I'm not even done. The reason why they were passed over is because the blood of Christ was upon them, right? Does that mean that there was literal blood on them in any way?
No, it's not.
No, of course not. So again, this is why we're saying the writer's inkhorn is just the documentation of you being written in the book of life or having the quote unquote mark of deliverance where you're not going to be killed for these things. That's why God said that in the book of Jeremiah, he said there are figs so bad that they cannot be eaten because they're so evil. And that's why 2/3 of the people got killed. But it's not a literal mark, and the angel is not literally taking fucking spiritual ink and writing on people's forehead, don't kill this one, bro. That's not what's going on here.
Yeah, so if I can.
Hey, that was, hey. I've been saying that scripture.
Hey, all right. Let me say
you got it.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, you got it, because I ain't gonna lie. I've been saying that Revelation so long, I almost got creeped out my spot. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna be real quick. In Ezekiel chapter 9 in verse 4, the instructions isn't to write down on a piece of paper, write down on parchment, write on the scroll. It don't say none of that. In verse 4, it literally says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men, not on a piece of paper. The instructions is set a mark on their foreheads. So can I finish? You wanted me to let you finish?
No, I didn't tell you to let me finish.
Oh, yes you did. So real quick. So yes you did. So real quick. Real quick. It says clearly, this is the instruction. I'm gonna read verse 3 and 4 and I'll be done. And the glory of the Lord, and the glory of the God of Israel was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was to the threshold of the house, and he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So you mean to tell me that the Lord is finna give him instructions to put a mark on people's foreheads, but the actual instructions is to write these people's names so he gonna know every person's name?
Yes, that's why it's called the Lamb's Book of Life.
Well, I mean,
their name is in the Book of Life.
Hold on. So y'all saying, hold on, just so I'm following. So Sister Jelly, are you saying that in Ezekiel chapter 9, this person is writing in the Lamb's Book of Life? Somebody else is writing the Lamb's Book of Life.
No. Hold on.
Okay, I'm asking about, real quick. Hold on, let me finish making my point, TJ, relax.
Don't steal my
So that's what I'm saying.
Nobody stealing your damn weak ass breakdown. Shut up.
Hey, so in Ezekiel chapter 9, I'm saying that the Lord is giving this person instructions to say, hey, go set a mark upon their forehead. Why would the Lord have to tell him that if he really means to write this down on some piece of paper that the audience didn't receive that you actually have on you? So we supposed to believe he got, come on, dog. The text in Ezekiel chapter 9, nothing in this, it don't mention the pen. See, in other places we go, it talk about the pen of the scribe, and it mentioned pen.
Bro, it's called a writer's inkhorn.
Is a writer's inkhorn a pen, or is it the place that holds the ink?
Well, I mean, obviously it's something you can write with. It's a writer's inkhorn.
Okay, this is the definition for writer's inkhorn, which is cassette, which I read earlier, H7083. Pot for ink. Pot for ink.
That's a cut.
Well,
that's a cut.
It's a pot for ink, not the pen that the ink goes into the pot.
He just killed 4 predators with that. He just killed all 4 predators.
You couldn't do it.
Hold on, real quick. Hold on. Okay, y'all not letting nobody.
Damn. Any of y'all Percepticons. Chosen couldn't do. Lions couldn't do. The runners of eschatology couldn't do it.
Oh my God.
The men who write their eschatology couldn't do it. Good job, hitting y'all. Even though you still wrong. Go ahead.
Yeah, so but like I was
praising him for being wrong.
She missed.
Yeah, first of all, this is a vision. There's no literal mark being set on anyone. And then number 2, I mean, however you want to explain it, whether you want to say they're writing the names down using the typology from the rest of the Bible, or you want to say he's taking the ink and splashing it on a motherfucker, the whole point here that's being communicated is that everybody that fits into this group of people is being accounted for. That's the whole point. I don't know why the hell y'all niggas arguing about how he's doing it. I have no idea, but this is a spiritual vision. Nobody's literally getting it right. This is insane. The whole point of the vision is to show that the people who are sighing and crying are being accounted for. That's the whole point.
Did nobody
However the nigga
in this vision?
Hey, hold on, bro. However the nigga chose to do it, and this is what's wrong with y'all. Y'all niggas argue the smallest. What? This,
hell no, nigga.
Nah, bro.
Hell no, nigga. We got to argue the smallest points, nigga.
You done chosen, because no the hell I don't. I argue at the time.
Oh my goodness, you want to philosophize stuff, man.
One thing I got you, bro. Niggas ain't faggots. Second of all,
I said maggot. I said maggot, nigga.
Niggas ain't maggots neither. So like I was saying, plain as day, it don't, like, this is a vision. Nobody's getting ink poured out on them. I don't even see why this is even a point of contention. But like I said, Hannah, either way you want to spin it, whether the niggas is getting wrote down or they getting ink splashed on their face like a damn bukkake, my nigga, it's simple. These niggas are getting taken account of. That's what it's talking about. That's the same thing.
This nigga think he's just gonna explain away the scriptures, nigga. Come on, bro. Stop.
What do you mean? Just gonna explain it away.
I just bought out, nigga. And that's why I asked this to go back and read it again.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
again. And again.
You ain't tell me to go back
and again.
You was hoping something jumped out and it did it.
No.
At the end of the day, he's making
He was corrupt.
Hold on. Because at the end of the day, bro, he made a point, handing y'all specifically. So they taking names. And they're not, and he tried to deter y'all.
Real quick. Hold on.
Got a biblical example of how names get took for people who are going
this slow ass
life used for that reason. It's not the life used for that reason. Y'all are cooked, bro.
Hold on, real quick. Oh my God. Can you hold on?
Hold on, TJ.
I'm trying to say something real quick.
No, I want to get my point out. You come back up when I'm finished. I want to get this. They want to
hear what you got to say, old lying ass.
You want to try to make this big argument. You want to make this big argument and say, oh, so well, who is the beast that's giving out the part? And I told you I didn't know. Whether I know it's Islam, whether I don't know it's Islam, whether I know it's wrong, whether I don't know it's wrong, whoever this beast is, the Bible tells me how to identify it based off the signs and wonders that it's going to do, and that it's going to tell me to seek after it because it did the signs and wonders. So you can sit all day tracking this doggone beast to see what it is. If you're not able to identify the fact that it's going to be doing false signs and wonders, you still cook. You put all your energy into trying to figure out what you cook. Yeah, whatever.
Lame. All that energy on lameness. That's crazy.
Yeah, whatever. Somebody let TJ back up. He about to kick me in the
Hold on, Hillside. I was trying to show something real quick. Nitsa, real quick, right? So in Revelation chapter 3, in Revelation chapter 7, you saying that that's a typology for Ezekiel 8, right?
I mean, Ezekiel 9, yeah.
Yeah, right. So now look at Revelation chapter 3 because it's talking about the same thing.
Exactly, with the Church of Philadelphia.
Can you hold on a second? Hey, no. What are you talking about, the Church of Philadelphia? No. It says right here in Revelation chapter, it was the Church of Philadelphia. All right, get it down. You take it. I
put in work for my argument, TJ. I ain't gonna be out there.
Yeah, all right, bro. Anyway, this is Revelation 3 and 12. It says, he that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him my new name, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem. Now, hold on a second. Didn't Ezekiel prophesy to a generation of people that saw the destruction of the old Jerusalem and the rebuilding of the New Jerusalem? According to the book of Zechariah. You said what?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, so, I mean, to me, this shows the writer's inkhorn right here, but I don't know, bro. But it says, and the name of the city of my new God, which is New Jerusalem, down out of heaven from God, and I will write upon him my new name. In the book of Isaiah, it says that God is going to create a new Jerusalem and that people are going to come back to that Jerusalem and they're going to get old and they're going to live and they're going to have peace. The generation Ezekiel prophesied to is the exact same generation plus 2 new generations that went back and rebuilt Jerusalem and saw it become new and rebuilt the temple.
Oh, okay. So the mark of the beast.
I don't know about the mark. I don't know what they got to do.
No,
Mark of the beast.
60 AD.
I don't know.
No, this ain't the mark of the beast.
Okay.
No, I didn't say that it was. Hold on.
I'm talking to TJ.
Hold on.
I didn't say it was the mark of the beast.
I know.
I don't know what they got to do with it, but okay.
I'm talking about
the writer's inkhorn.
I know you're talking about the writer's inkhorn, and you just mentioned Revelation chapter 3. So listen to the argument. Your argument is putting this in a time period of 70 AD. So if you got the seal of God and the saints of God receiving a mark in 70 AD,
who said 70 AD? Who said 70 AD?
Hey, brother, I guarantee you it's talking. I guarantee you your argument is going to conclude. But hey, go on mute. Go on mute. Just go on mute. Yeah, it's over with.
No,
See,
but didn't nobody say 70 AD though?
This is the beginning of the end.
Man, go on mute, man. Let the man finna expose it, you nigga.
So now watch this.
Hey, y'all stupid. This is the end for you niggas.
Now watch this. If y'all pay attention to TJ argumentation and just listen carefully to the thing that he just said. He said that wasn't there a generation that saw the destruction of one temple and the building of another temple? So watch this. During this time period, did they have to receive a mark? So was that tribulation going on in Jerusalem when they was building the temple to where they had to receive a mark or be put in the Lamb's Book of Life?
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
It's over.
Hold on. Let me show you. I'm gonna show you in one scripture. Hold on a second. It's in 1 Peter. Let me see.
Oh, he got to go to first. See?
No,
is Peter talking about something in the past? Is First Peter talking about something in the past, or is First Peter talking about something that you say happened in 70 AD?
Do not start doing that, bro. I'm going to the scripture. Stop playing.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, I got you, my nigga. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 20. It says, which sometimes were disobedient. Matter of fact, I'm going to start at verse 19. It says, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison. Talking about preaching to the Israelites. It says, which sometimes were disobedient when once the long suffering of God waited in the days of Noah.
Israelites in the time of Noah. That's crazy.
Oh my God, bro. That's not what it's talking about. What you just said is not what the verse is talking about. It's called reading comprehension. Something you should learn, my nigga.
Didn't you just say he went to go preach?
Definitely got it. Definitely lacking that.
I know y'all Vallejo
TJ,
niggas
you just
definitely laughing at.
in prison.
Hey, can you shut up for a second?
Nigga, is it yes or no, nigga?
Hey, nigga, how you gonna ask me?
Comprehension
I'm
skill.
in the middle of my turn, bro. Shut up. So like,
You's a hoe. You's a hoe.
Yeah, whatever, nigga. I'll be that nigga. Bet I'll whoop your. Never mind.
Yeah, I bet you won't. Nigga, you can meet me at Hyphy Burger, nigga. I bet you won't.
Hyphy Burger is crazy.
Well, that's a spot in the city. The nigga said to meet up at. That's a spot in the city.
We know that. I'm just laughing at the fact that he said it. We know it's an actual spot, man.
Yeah, what that nigga ass did get a number 2. What that nigga ass did more than number 2.
I heard hey, listen, all I'm gonna say is I heard a whole.
Dog don't want to eat every burger.
Yeah,
Hey, if you niggas ain't heard of Hyphy Burger, man, it's the best burger in the world, man. I'm just letting you know.
First of all,
shut your lying ass up.
Ben's Burgers is shitting on Hyphy Burger any day of the week. Nigga, stop playing. You ain't a real Oakland native, bro.
Man, stout burger down here.
TJ, I used to work at Burger.
Hey, Ben's Burger is just
Burger, bro.
I ain't gonna lie, Whataburger, go. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, TJ, that was my first job when I was at. Wait,
hey, your ass used to be stealing all the burgers.
TJ, that was my first job when I was 16.
Nah, hoe ass nigga, that mean I traveled, nigga. That's what that mean.
Nigga, shut up.
Nigga, shut up.
I'll be your TJ. Finish your information.
Nah, I was gonna say, this is the book of 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 19. It says, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison. That's the Israelites according to the book of Jeremiah. It says, which sometimes were disobedient, right? The Israelites. It says, when once the long suffering of God waited in the days of Noah. So what Peter's doing here is he's making an example of the days of Noah and their generation. It says, while the ark was a preparing, wherein few, that is 8 souls.
Israelites on the ark, huh?
Man, could you shut the fuck up? It says,
Go ahead.
It says, in the days, I got you. It said he's making an example from Noah's generation to Jesus' generation.
Them the niggas he went to go preach to in prison.
I'm about to
niggas from
show
Noah's
you.
time.
I'm about to literally show you.
Let him finish.
Yeah, I'm about to show you the likeness, right? Right, I'm about to show you the likeness. It says, while the ark was a preparing, wherein few, that is 8 souls, were saved by water. The like figure whereunto, so he's using Noah as a figure. He's not saying that what he's talking about is Noah. He's talking about how Noah's story applies to his generation. Christ is the ark. Look, it says the like figure whereunto even baptism doth also now save us, not the putting away of the filth of the flesh, but the answer of a good conscience toward God by the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So he just told you that the likeness of Noah preparing the ark is the same likeness of baptism, which is the ark of God prepared for them by the blood of God. They're saved from the judgment that was going to come upon Jerusalem. That's literally what Peter is saying.
But that's how that means you don't. That's how that means you don't get saved then. So that means you missed the mark. Then you missed the shit.
No.
It's over. If
I'm gonna
you see
tell you.
everything happen 7 to 8 days, it's over.
Nobody.
You missed the bus.
Nobody said.
Got away from the conversation by trying to talk about what happened instead of dealing with it.
70 AD is like a damn hot topic or something. I don't know what the hell wrong with y'all in this 70 AD.
You just broke
but I didn't say. I did not bring up 70 AD.
The temple is in the city.
Y'all gotta have AD. Y'all have to have AD.
Can you allow me to intervene?
You have to have AD.
We don't have it. I don't want to say we don't have it accurate. We have it pretty accurate, but not as accurate as we need it to be. Theories that work or seem to work, at least for, again, mass objects versus the tiny space and time. So, yeah, man, that's the until we get that universal theory that merges the two, we're always going to be one step behind, in terms of, especially when it comes to creating technology, certain technologies that take us into the realm of like superhuman beings flying or doing what you would call magic and some of these other things that we see in like science fiction. So, I mean, but here's the thing right here. The folks sort of use it like it's double time debunk the creeps and start. I'll be honest with you, I don't even think, as much as they try to use up, which is to debunk the creeps is doing, it doesn't. Exactly. Alright. And I say that because, like, God himself let his earth, and because of course, like things of the old, basically the older just done away with, right? So if he knew that certain species wouldn't be able to adapt, he had to wipe them out, right? Now, when they talk about, I think he was talking about, was it this neo-Darwinian evolution, I think? Yeah, that's the prevailing theory that is now being heavily challenged. Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked too deeply into it, but as far as I'm aware, isn't that basically like how genetics change over time? Oh, well, yes, it's not just the change over time, it's the mechanism by which the change happens, which is natural selection and random mutation. They built their entire narrative and theory around these two mechanisms, natural selection and random mutation, which are shown to be inadequate to describe not just complex, but the specific complexity around biology, nature, and some of this other stuff. Yeah. So these are two mechanisms that are inadequate, or showing to be inadequate. Yeah, I think that's the problem, I think, with the scientists, right? And, I'm very pro-education. So he was anti-science, but I think the problem with the atheists is that it has a very limiting belief of who God is, right? Even the Christian will admit that we can't even fully conceptualize God in his full essence. I mean, so like, I think like when people try to limit God, even when he says, let there be light, right, and stuff, all these things, he says it with this words. Are people not understanding that this is the creator of the universe? I mean, we know as human beings that our thoughts do shape our reality, right? This whole thing about like what you say can help influence like your reality and boost your sense of self-esteem and stuff like that, Even these real spiritualists, they say stuff like, talk about manifesting all the time, right? If we were creating God's image, I mean, who's to say that God can do that times 10 because he's the OG of it all? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, absolutely. And look, there's the thing that's so interesting is when you actually go back and you look at the history, what you notice, and this is for most history, people write narratives and people make icons out of individuals. Whereas when you look at the entire history, there's always somebody else or some other scientist that's being ignored that was better than the one they chose to. And this is the case with Darwin. Gregor Mendel is the actual father of biology. He is the actual guy who theorized geneticism before they had the evidence. And yet, Darwin is the one that everyone loves to talk about. The reason why everybody likes to talk about Darwin rather than Gregor Mendel is because Darwin was the one who spoke against God. Darwin was the one who was trying to disprove God. Whereas Gregor Mendel, the actual father of geneticism, kills their whole entire anti-science or Christians are anti-science narrative. Gregor was a devout Catholic monk, devout Catholic, believed wholly in God, and laid the foundation for all we know with geneticism. And yet, they want to give Darwin, who knew nothing about genetics, they want to use him to say he is the father. That's why I had to get on your ass, Alessandro. You sound like a retard, bro. Respectfully.
I think, like, I'm going to probably view it as, like, both of them made different contributions. I think Gregor Mendel's contributions were definitely groundbreaking and eye-opening regarding our understanding of inheritance.
You acting like a new Gregor?
About, like, what's up?
Are you now acting like a new Gregor?
He learned about, I think the experiments that he did entailed, like, using plants and tracking over the generations their inheritance.
Yeah, so why did you talk about
acting like I don't know him? I'm telling you.
So why did you say he's the father? Why did you say Darwin is the father of biology? Why did you say that? When Gregor's the actual father of not only molecular biology, actual genetics. All we know about genetics is what they do. When the technology got better, his theories were all proven correct. All of them. And yet you wanted to attribute biology to Darwin. Why?
I think evolution truly is the unifying theory of biology that helps us be able to speak to. Well, I mean, every time, if I'm having ideas while I'm talking, I mean,
you're just repeating. This is what comes. Okay, so what was that? Because now there's a contention. You keep saying Darwin, and yet Gregor Mendel is the one where all of this stuff is used for genetics. Darwin didn't know shit about genetics.
What contributions to genetics of his? Because I'm going to distinguish between genetics and inheritance. I think that Mendel definitely understood some groundbreaking things about, like, being able to predict what traits will be inherited. You know, he definitely links to understanding the difference between dominant and recessive traits. But he himself actually doesn't even say the word genetics, if I'm not mistaken. So I think inheritance is going to be what I grant him with, right? Which is definitely an important foundational concept for genetics. But I don't think that he ever wrote about DNA.
Mendel was the first to discover the basic laws of heredity long before DNA was known. Through meticulous experiments breeding pea plants, he identified patterns showing that traits are inherited according to predictable mathematics, not by vague blending, as many in his day believed.
Right. So that's inheritance, right? Not genetics.
No, you're against genetics. The law of segregation, the law of independent assortment, and the idea of discrete heredity units, that takes meticulous math, sir. Now, Darwin is the fraud here. Darwin did not know any of this. He had no theory. You said what?
So, like, yeah, all I'm pointing out is that we're not even disagreeing with each other. I think that maybe
you're trying. Okay, here's this. What am I saying? You're trying to attribute biology to Darwin. That is especially genetics, especially genetic. Because remember, you spoke on the genetics part of biology. Sorry. You spoke on the genetics, the genetic part of biology. Genetics. Yes, you did. And so if you're going to speak on genetics, the father of genetics is Gregor Mendel, not Darwin.
I spoke on several aspects of so
yes, when you spoke specifically on genetics.
I spoke
that is Gregor Mendel. That is Gregor Mendel's domain. That is not Darwin's domain.
Okay. So what did I say that was incorrect?
Yes, because molecular biology and genetics.
No, yes, is not answering that question.
Not Darwin.
What did I say that was incorrect?
What Darwin proposed is natural selection and random mutation, which again, when you look at the data that's coming down today, it is wholly inadequate to those two mechanisms are wholly inadequate to describe all that was seen in DNA, the body, how it's actually an operating system with information systems and messaging. Natural selection and random mutation cannot account for those things. They are clearly programmed. They're clearly dealing with an encoded system. But go ahead.
I think we're just there's two different things. I think like you're trying to win a battle that doesn't.
See how Io said I'm right. So look at how Io is rated. Io is right now. Io has
you do this thing where you just start talking and it's like
Io you're serious. Io deals with that. That's what he said.
Why you just start talking whenever I'm talking? Like I'm really just like because you'll notice I'm not gonna yell at you. I'm not gonna yell at you.
That's fine. I'm just letting you know. Io said I'm right. Go ahead.
What do we disagree about?
I just told you. You tried to attribute. I literally told you this the fourth time. You tried to attribute to what Gregor Mendel should be attributed to. You tried to attribute Darwin to that.
Right, I never said Darwin was the father of genetics. I think that the problem's going to be here that you think I attributed to Darwin.
Don't try to act like me.
It's your life. It's now or never. You gotta listen to the brain rot. This shit will go on all night long. It's your right.
Because I don't think the stage has to go into like bullshit.
That's not. You're the one that's getting it. 30 seconds. Look at the chat. I said I was right because I was showing Alessandro how it's appropriating what should have mentioned Gregor Mendel to Darwin.
Okay, so like I think that the problem is going to be here that at no point did I say Charles Darwin is the father of genetics. At no point did I say at no point did I say. Can you stop interrupting me, please? Right. So I mean, I'm just as a matter of fact.
That's why I'm talking down on your ass, bro.
Cool. Okay. So like, right, it just happens to be a matter of fact that I did not say that Charles Darwin is the father of genetics, right?
I'm trying to attribute to Darwin.
You're a mod.
Let him have it.
You're a mod, bro. You're a mod.
I think I heard him say something about
just not letting me talk.
Something like that.
That I mean, at least okay.
But you said it was the Isaac
Trace your name down the spine of a card. Gold ink bleeding through the cracks of my heart. 10 bright branches on a map in my hands. Every step that I take was already planned. Crown of tin behind her. Every path cuts it wider. Holy fire on my skin. God of trace your name down the spine of a card. Gold ink bleeding through the cracks of my heart. 10 bright branches on a map in my hands. Every step that I take was already planned.
Welcome to Kabbalah Incorporated, a subdivision of a multinational known as John Kitover Incorporated.
Names I never speak out loud, rise like smoke for me.
Look at that PTR. Gross.
Telling right those inside me, all
Okay, we're going to continue on where we left off. Oh no, I think I lost my page. All right, back to the music for a minute.
Realms and broken kingdoms, mirrored in a cup of wine. Every symbol shakes my chest, draws a circle around my spine. I touch my fear so gently, he laid it on an unseen scale. Hear a whisper, not a voice. I was with you when you fell. I climb a ladder of terror, calling your secret name again. Every step that
Part 2, Philosophical Mysteries. Preliminary considerations. It has been said that beauty is the splendor of truth. Now, moral beauty is goodness. It is beautiful to be good. To be intelligently good, one must be just. To be just, one must act reasonably. To act reasonably, one must have the knowledge of reality. To have the knowledge of reality, one must have consciousness of truth. To have consciousness of truth, one must have an exact notion of being. Being, truth, reason, and justice are the common objects of the researches of science and of the aspirations of faith. The conceptions, whether real or hypothetical, of a supreme power transform justice into providence, and the notion of divinity, from this point of view, becomes accessible to science herself. Science studies being in its partial manifestation. Faith supposes it, or rather admits it a priori, as a whole. Science seeks the truth in everything. Faith refers everything to an universal and absolute truth. Science records realities in detail. Faith explains them by totalized reality to which science cannot bear witness, but which the very existence of the details seems to force her to recognize and to admit.
curtain breezing, dust in the gold beam, turning cards on a velvet square. High priestess watching, silent, smirking.
Science submits the reason of persons and things to the universal mathematical reason. Faith seeks, or rather supposes, an intelligent and absolute reason for and above mathematics themselves. Science demonstrates justice by justness. Faith gives an absolute justness to justice and subordinating it to providence. One sees here all that faith borrows from science and all that science, in its turn, owes to faith. Without faith, science is circumscribed by an absolute doubt and finds itself eternally penned within the risky empiricism of a reasoning skepticism. Without science, faith constructs its hypotheses at random and can only blindly prejudge the causes of the effects of which she is ignorant. The great chain which reunites science and faith is analogy. Science is obliged to respect a belief whose hypotheses are analogous to demonstrated truths. Faith, which attributes everything to God, is obliged to admit science as being a natural revelation which, by the partial manifestation of the laws of eternal reason, gives a scale of proportion to all the aspirations and to all the excursions of the soul into the domain of the unknown. It is, then, faith alone that can give a solution to the mysteries of science, and in return it is science alone that demonstrates the necessity of the mysteries of faith. Outside the union and the concourse of these two living forces of the intelligence, there is for science nothing but skepticism and despair. For faith, nothing but rashness and fanaticism.
You ask about power, I answer with numbers and names. 10 doors in the mind, one word you're afraid to say. Crown above the clouds, the name above the name. You're chasing shadows. Velvet curtain, dust on the stage, candles trembling, names on a page, 7-sided mirror, smoke in my chest. Every question burns through my dress. I hold the pillar and the flame. I call the silence by its name. Crown over chaos, heart over fear. All of the worlds are turning in here. I want the numbers, climb the line, dust into breath, matter inside. Power is mercy, just as the storm. I fall apart so the truth can be born. Cards on the table, gold, stone, full in circle, steps into unknown. Every hidden symbol points to the same sky. What is from your soul stays dry. Just as the soul, I fall apart so the truth can be born. Is this fate or is this choice? Ancient script or my own voice? If you wrote me into time, teach me how to read the signs. I hold the pillar and the can be born. Velvet curtain, dust on the stage, candles trembling, names on a page. Set inside a mirror, smoke in my chest. Every question burns through my dress. I hold the pillar and the flame. I call the silence by its name. Crown over chaos, heart over fear. All of the worlds are turning in here. All the numbers climb a line. Just sends a breath, matter a sign. Power is mercy, just as a storm. I fall apart, so the truth can be born. Cards on the table, gold, sword, stone, fool in a circle, steps into unknown. Every hidden symbol points to the same sky. What is a throne if the soul stays dry? Tell me. Oh, the pillar and the flame. Oh, call the silence by its name. Call the chaos, call the fear. All of the worlds are turning in here. All the numbers climb a line. Disintegrate, better to sign. Power is mercy, just as the storm. I fall apart, so the truth can be born. Is this fate or is this choice? Ancient script and my own voice, my own voice. If you roll me into time, teach me how to read the signs. I hold the pillar and the flame. I call the silence by its name. Crown over chaos, heart over fear. All of the worlds are turning in here. It's like a line. Disintegrate the sign. Power is mercy, terrible wrong. I fall apart, so the truth can be born. Trace your name down the spine of the card. Gold ink bleeding through the cracks of my heart. 10 bright branches on a map in my hands. Every step that I take was already planned. Every path cuts like wire. Holy fire on my skin. God of trace your name down the spine of the card. Gold ink bleeding through the cracks of my heart. 10 bright branches on a map in my hands. Every step that I take was already planned. Candles in a circle, palms face down, they breathe. Names I never speak out loud, rise like smoke from me. Golden threads and darkness, map of the path I walk and dream. 10 bright doors inside me, all of them hold keys. I climb the ladder of 10, calling your secret name again. Every step, every breath I remember. Power is under your hands. You turn the shadows into sand. Got a power to make me a spark of your center. Crowns and broken kingdoms, mirror in a cup of wine. Every symbol shakes my chest, draws a circle around my spine. I touch my fear so gently, lay it on an unseen scale. Hear a whisper, not a voice. I was with you when you fell. I climb the ladder of 10, calling your secret name again. Every step, every breath I remember. Power and thunder in my hands. You turn the shadows into sand. Power, make me a spark of your center. Let the past go. Candles drip on velvet cars. Symbols cut the smoking high. You trace circles on my palm. Say my future's gonna crash. Red string tied around my wrist. You say play to make a wish. Every secret on your lips turns electric when we kiss. Oh, tell me what you see in me. Wheels on fire, spinning free. Every shuffle, every sound pulls my body into your design. Open up the seven gate. Let the hero vibrate. Feel the current under my skin. Pull the tower down, let it begin. Silver coins across the cloud. You count blessings, you count love. Chanting numbers in my ear, turn my heartbeat into love. Dust the roses in the air. I see patterns everywhere. Every step a secret code. I surrender to the overflow. Tell me what you see in me. Wheels on fire, spinning free. Every shuffle, every sign pulls my body into your defense. Open up the seventh gate, let the hidden power break through the current under my skin. Pull the tower down, let it begin. Call my name and draw the line. Turn my shadow into a shine. Since I won't escape on the flame inside your seventh gate. Inside your seventh gate. Bright curtain breeze in, dust in the gold beam, turning cards on a velvet square. High priestess watching, silent, smirking. You ask about power, I answer with numbers and names. 10 doors in the mind, one word you're afraid to say. Above the cards, name above the name. Red curtain breathing, dust in the gold beam, turning cards on a velvet square. High priestess watching, silent, smirking. You ask about power, I answer with numbers and names. 10 doors in the mind, one word you're afraid to say. Crown above the cost, name above the name. You're chasing shadows. Velvet curtain, dust on the stage, candles trembling, names on a page, 7-sided mirror, smoke in my chest. Every question burns through my dress. I hold a pillar and a flame. I call the silence by its name. Crown over chaos, heart over fear. All of the worlds are can be born. Cards on the table, gold, sword, stone, fool in a circle, steps into unknown. Every hidden symbol points to the same sky. What is a throne if the soul stays dry? Tell me, I hold the pillar and the flame. I call the silence by its name. Crown over chaos, heart over fear. All of the world I'm turning in here. I want the numbers, got the line. Dust into breath and sigh. Power is mercy, just as the storm. I fall apart so the truth can be born. Is this fate or is this choice? Ancient script or my own If you wrote me into time, teach me how to read the so the truth can be born. Velvet curtain, dust on the stage, candles trembling, names on a page, seven-sided mirror, smoke in my chest. Every question burns through my dress. I hold the pillar and the flame. I call the silence by its name. Crown over chaos, heart over fear. All of the worlds are turning in here. All the numbers climb the line. Descend to breath, matter to sign. Power is mercy, just as the storm. I fall apart, so the truth can be born. Cards on the table, gold, sword, stone, fool in a circle, steps into unknown. trace your name down the spine of a card. Gold ink bleeding through the cracks of my heart. 10 bright branches on a map in my hands. Every step that I take was already planned. Crown of 10 behind her. Every path cuts like wider. Holy fire on my skin. God of trace your name down the spine of a card. Gold ink bleeding through the cracks of my heart. 10 bright branches on a map in my hands. Every step that I take was already Candles in a circle, cards face down, they breathe. Names I never speak out loud, rise like smoke for me. Golden threads in darkness, map a path I walk in dreams. 10 bright doors inside me, all of them hold keys. I come the ladder of 10, calling your secret name again. Every step, every breath I remember. Power and thunder, you turn the shadows into sand. Power, make me a spark of your center. Crowns and broken kingdoms, mirror in a cup of wine. Every symbol shakes my chest, draws a circle around my spine. I touch my fear so gently, lay it on an unseen scale. Hear a whisper, not a voice. I was with you when you fell. I come a ladder of 10, calling your secret name again. Every step, every breath I remember. Power and thunder in my hands. You turn the shadows into sand. Power, make me a spark of your center.
I'm wearing skinny jeans and I'm not even out of the house yet. I can like barely move my legs. It's like I've just gotten so fat. But I'm so cheap. I bought all my jeans on eBay and by God, none of them really fit that good. So it's like, if you go out and buy jeans, oh my God, you gotta try them on. Because how the fuck do they make them so tight in the knee? Is it because I'm fat? Or is it because I'm getting fat? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not the jeans or the jacket. Maybe I'm the puffer. I'm breaking a sweat just trying to get out of my house. Chindade.
Candles in a circle, cards face down, they breathe.
Very hot in this jacket.
Rise like smoke from me. Golden threads in darkness, map the path I walked in dreams.
Jeez, these jeans are tight.
Inside me,
It's like, can I? If I have no mobility because of my clothing, it's kind of annoying.
Crowns and broken kingdoms, mirror in a cup of wine. Every symbol shakes my chest, draws a circle around my spine. I touch my fear so gently, lay it on and I seem scared. Hear a whisper, not a voice that was with you when you lay down the past like armor, let every mask fall through. If every path is numbered, they all lead back to you.
more mobility on my legs. Oh, the music ran out. Here we go.
Candles drip on velvet cars. Symbols cut the smoke in half. You drew circles on my palm. Say my future's gonna crash. Red string tied around my wrist. You say, baby, make a wish. Every secret on your lips. Till we'll wake you straight when we kiss. Tell me what you see in me. Wheels on fire, spinning free. Every shuffle, every sign pulls my body into your desire. Open up the seventh gate, let the hate.
Okay, this is Eliphas Levi. If faith insults science, she blasphemes. If science misunderstands faith, she abdicates. Now let us hear them speak in harmony. Being is everywhere, says science. It is multiple and variable in its forms, unique in its essence and immutable in its laws. The relative demonstrates the existence of the absolute. Intelligence exists in being. Intelligence animates and modifies matter. Intelligence is everywhere, says faith. Life is nowhere fatal because it is ruled. This rule is the expression of supreme wisdom. The absolute in intelligence, the supreme regulator of forms, the living ideal of spirits, is God. In its identity with the ideal, being is truth, says science. In its identity with the ideal, truth is God, replies faith. In its identity with my demonstrations, being is reality, says science. In its identity with my legitimate aspirations, reality is my dogma, says faith. In its identity with the word, being is reason, says science. In its identity with the spirit of charity, highest reason is my obedience, says faith. In its identity with the motive of reasonable acts, being is justice, says science. In its identity with the principle of charity, justice is providence, replies faith. Sublime harmony of all certainties with all hopes. Of the absolute in intelligence with the absolute in love.
Silver coins across the cloud. You count blessings, you count lows. Chanting numbers in my ear, turn my heartbeat into law. Dust of roses in the air, I see patterns everywhere. White curtain breeze in dust in the gold beam, turning cards on a velvet square. High priestess watching, silent, smirking. You ask about power, I answer with numbers and names. 10 doors in the mind, one word you're afraid to say. Crown above the cards, name above the name. Red curtain breeze and dust in the gold beam, turning cards on a velvet square. High priestess watching, silent, smirking.
The Holy Spirit, the Spirit of charity, should then conciliate all and transform all into his own light. It is not the spirit of intelligence, the spirit of science, the spirit of counsel, the spirit of force. He must come, says the Catholic liturgy, and it will be, as it were, a new creation. And he will change the face of the earth. To laugh at philosophy is already to philosophize, says Pascal, referring to the skeptical and incredulous philosophy, which does not recognize faith. And if there existed a faith which trampled science underfoot, we should not say that to laugh at such a faith would be a true act of religion. For religion, which is all charity, does not tolerate mockery. But one would be right in blaming this love for ignorance, and in saying to this rash faith, since you slight your sister, you are not the daughter of God. Truth, reality, reason, justice, providence. These are the 5 rays of the flamboyant star, in the center of which science will write the word being, to which faith will add the ineffable name of God. Solution of the philosophical problems. First series, question, what is truth? Answer, idea identical with being. Question, what is reality? Knowledge identical with being. What is reason? The word identical with being. What is justice? The motive of acts identical with being. What is the absolute? Being. Can one conceive anything superior to being? No, but one conceives in being itself something supereminent and transcendental. What is that? The supreme reason of being. Do you know it? And can you define it? Faith alone affirms it and names it God. Is there anything above truth? Above known truth, there is unknown truth. How can one construct reasonable hypotheses with regard to this truth? By analogy and proportion. How can one define it? By the symbols of faith. Can one say of reality the same thing as of truth? Exactly the same thing. Is there anything above reason? Above finite reason? There is infinite reason. What is infinite reason? It is that supreme reason of being that faith calls God. Is there anything above justice? Yes. According to faith, there is the providence of God and the sacrifice of man. What is this sacrifice? It is the willing and spontaneous surrender of right. Is this sacrifice reasonable? No. Is it a kind of folly greater than reason, for reason is forced to admire it? How does one call a man who acts according to truth, reality, reason, and justice? A moral man, and if he sacrifices his interests to justice, a man of honor. And if in order to imitate the grandeur and goodness of providence he does more than his duty and sacrifices his right to the good of others, a hero. What is the principle of true heroism? Faith. What is its support? Hope. And its rule? Charity. What is the good? Order. What is the evil? Disorder. What is permissible? Pleasure. Enjoyment of order. What is forbidden? Pleasure. Enjoyment of disorder. What are the consequences of each? Moral life and moral death. Has then hell, with all its horrors, its justification in religious dogma? Yes, it is a rigorous consequence of a principle. What is this principle? Liberty. What is liberty? The right to do one's duty with the possibility of not doing it. What is failing in one's duty? It involves the loss of one's right. Now, right being eternal. To lose it is to suffer an eternal loss. Can one repair a fault? Yes, by expiation. What is expiation? Working overtime. Thus, because I was lazy yesterday, I had to do a double task today. What are we to think of those who impose on themselves voluntary sufferings? If they do so in order to overcome the brutal fascination of pleasure, they are wise. If to suffer instead of others, they are generous. But if they do it without discretion and without measure, they are imprudent. Thus, in the eyes of true philosophy, religion is wise in all that it ordains. You see that it is so. But if, after all, we were deceived in our eternal hopes, faith does not admit that doubt. But philosophy herself should reply that all the pleasures of the earth are not worth one day of wisdom, and that all the triumphs of ambition are not worth a single minute of heroism and of charity. Second series question: what is man? Man is an intelligent and corporeal being made in the image of God and of the world, one in essence, triple in substance, mortal and immortal. You say triple in substance. Has man then two souls or two bodies? No, there is in him a spiritual soul, a material soul, and a plastic medium. What is the substance of this medium? Light, partially volatile, partially fixed. What is the volatile part of this light? Magnetic fluid. And the fixed part, the fluidic or fragrant body. Is the existence of this body demonstrated? Yes, by the most curious and the most conclusive experiences. We shall speak of them in the third part of this work. Are these experiences articles of faith? No, they pertain to science. But will science preoccupy herself with it? She already preoccupies herself with it. We have written this book and you are reading it. And give us some notions of this plastic medium. It is formed of astral or terrestrial light and transmits the double magnetization of it to the human body.
You ask about power, I answer with numbers and names. 10 doors in the mind, one word you're afraid to say. Crown above the cause, name above the name. You're chasing shadows. Velvet curtain, dust on the stage, candles trembling, names on a page, 7-sided mirror, smoke in my chest. Every question burns through my dress. I hold the pillar and the flame. I call the silence by its name. Crown over chaos, heart over fear. All of the worlds are turning in here. I walk the numbers, climb the line, dust into breath, matter design. Power is mercy, just as the storm. I fall apart so the truth can be born. Cards on the table, gold, sword, stone, full in a circle, steps into unknown. Every hidden symbol points to the same sky. What is the road? If the soul so the truth can be born.
Time for a little more tea. Tea time! It's 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 time for some more tea!
Velvet curtain, dust on the stage, candles tremble, names on a page, seven-sided mirror, smoke in my chair. Every
Muchachos! Amigos! Que Dios te bendiga! ¡Hecho aquí! ¡El poquito pescando!
So the truth can be born. Cards on the table, gold, sword, stone, fool in a circle, steps into unknown. Every hidden symbol points to the same sky. What is a throne if the soul stays straight? Tell me. Oh, pillar and the flame. Oh, silence by its name. Oh, chaos. Oh, fear. All of the world's eternity. All the numbers come alive. Just as the storm fall apart, so the truth can be born. Is this fate or is this choice? Ancient script on my own voice. If you roll me into time, teach me how to read the signs. I hold the pillar and the flame. Call the silence by its name. Crown over chaos, heart over fear. All of the worlds are turning in here. It's time to lie. Disinterpret the sign. Power is mercy, terrible one. Fall apart, so the truth can be born.
The soul, by acting on this light through its volitions, can dissolve it or coagulate it, project it or withdraw it. It is the mirror of the imagination and of dreams. It reacts upon the nervous system and thus produces the movements of the body. This light can dilate itself indefinitely and communicate its reflections at considerable distances. It magnetizes the bodies submitted to the action of man and can, by concentrating itself, again draw them to him. It can take all the forms evoked by thought, and in the transitory coagulations of its radiant particles appear to the eyes. It can even offer a sort of resistance to the touch. These manifestations and uses of the plastic medium being abnormal, the luminous instrument of precision cannot produce them without being strained. And there is danger of either habitual hallucination or of insanity. What is animal magnetism? The action of one plastic medium upon another in order to dissolve or coagulate it, by augmenting the elasticity of the vital light and its force of projection. One sends it forth as far as one will, and withdraws it completely loaded with images. But this operation must be favored by the slumber of the subject, which one produces by coagulating still further the fixed part of his medium. Is magnetism contrary to morality and religion? Yes, when one abuses it. In what does the abuse of it consist? In employing it in a disordered manner or for a disordered object. What is a disordered magnetism? Hello? An unwholesome fluidic emission made with a bad intention, for example, to know the secrets of others or to arrive at unworthy ends. What is the result of it? It puts out of order the fluidic instrument of precision, both in the case of the magnetizer and of the magnetized. To this cause one must attribute the immoralities and the follies with which a great number of those who occupy themselves with magnetism are reproached. What conditions are required in order to magnetize properly? Health of spirit and body, right intention, and discreet practice. What advantageous results can one obtain by discreet magnetism? The cure of nervous diseases, the analysis of presentiments, the reestablishment of fluidic harmonies, and the rediscovery of certain secrets of nature. Explain that to us in a more complete manner. We should do so in the third part of this work, which will treat specially of the mysteries of nature. All right, we're going to read a few more pages, then I'm going to terminate the transmission. Part 3, the mysteries of nature. The great magical agent we have spoken of, a substance extended in the infinite. Arche, Azoth, Hyrie, the 10th key of the Sephir of the Tarot. That substance is one which is heaven and earth, that is to say, according to its degrees of polarization, subtle or fixed. This substance is what Hermes Trismegistus calls the great telesma. When it produces splendor, it is called light. It is this substance which God creates before everything else. When he says, "Let there be light," it is at once substance and movement. It is fluid and a perpetual vibration. Its inherent force which sets it in motion is called magnetism. In the infinite, this unique substance is the ether, or the etheric light. In the stars which it magnetizes, it becomes astrolight. In organized beings, light or magnetic fluid. In man, it forms the astrobody, or the plastic medium. The will of intelligent beings acts directly on this light, and by means of it, on all that part of nature which is submitted to the modifications of intelligence. This light is the common mirror of all thoughts and all forms. It preserves the images of everything that has been, the reflections of past worlds, and by analogy, sketches of worlds to come. It is the instrument of thaumaturgy and divination, as remains for us to explain in the third and last part of this work. First book, Magnetic Mysteries, Chapter 1. The Key of Mesmerism. Mesmer rediscovered the secret science of nature. He did not invent it. The first unique and elementary substance whose existence he proclaims in his aphorisms was known by Hermes and Pythagoras. Synesius, who sings it in his hymns, found it revealed in the Platonistic records of the school of Alexandria. A single source, a single root of light, jets out, spreads itself into three branches of splendor. A breath blows round the earth, vivifies in innumerable forms, all parts of animated substance. Him too, Synesius. Mesmer saw an elementary matter, a substance indifferent to movement as to rest, submitted to movement, it is volatile, fallen back into rest, it is fixed, and he did not understand that movement is inherent in the first substance, that it results not from its indifference, but from its aptitude, combined with a movement and a rest which are equilibrated one by the other. That absolute rest is nowhere in universal living matter, but that the fixed attracts the volatile in order to fix it, while the volatile attacks the fixed in order to volatilize it. That the supposed rest of particles apparently fixed is nothing but a more desperate struggle in the greater tension of the fluidic forces, which by neutralizing each other make themselves immobile. It is thus that, as Hermes says, that which is above is like that which is below. Hermes, the same force which expands steam, contracts and hardens the icicle. Everything obeys the laws of life, which are inherent in the original substance. The substance attracts and repels, coagulates itself and dissolves itself with a constant harmony. It is double, it is androgynous, it embraces itself and fertilizes itself. It struggles, triumphs, destroys, renews, but never abandons itself to inertia, because inertia for it would be death. It is this original substance to which the hieratic recital of Genesis refers when the word of the Elohim creates light by commanding it to exist. The Elohim said, "Let there be light," and there was light. This light, whose Hebrew name is Aor, is the fluidic and living gold of the Hermetic philosophy. Its positive principle is the sulfur, its negative principle the mercury, and its equilibrated principles form what they call the salt. One must then, in place of the sixth aphorism of Mesmer, which reads thus, "Matter is indifferent as to whether it is in movement or in rest," establish this proposition. Universal matter is compelled to movement by its double magnetization, and its fate is to seek equilibrium.
Trace your name down the spine of a card. Gold ink bleeding through the cracks of my heart. 10 bright branches on a map in my hands. Every step that I take was already planned. Crown of 10, call me higher. Every path like wider. Holy fire on my skin. God of
Okay, I'm gonna heart out of here in 5 minutes. Or maybe not, maybe 10. Who knows? Whence one may deduce these corollaries, regularity and variety in movement result from the different combinations of equilibrium. A point equilibrated on all sides remains at rest for the very reason that it is endowed with motion. Fluid consists of rapidly moving matter, always stirred by the variations of the balancing forces. A solid is the same matter in slow movement or at apparent rest because it is more or less solidly balanced. There is no solid body which would not immediately be pulverized, vanish in smoke, and become invisible if the equilibrium of its molecules were to cease suddenly. There is no fluid which would not instantly become harder than the diamond. If one could equilibrate its constituent molecules, to direct the magnetic forces is then to destroy or create forms. To produce to all appearance or to destroy bodies, it is to exercise the almighty power of nature. Our plastic medium is a magnet which attracts or repels the astrolite under the pressure of the will. It is a luminous body which reproduces with the greatest ease forms corresponding to ideas. It is the mirror of the imagination. This body is nourished by astrolite just as the organic body is nourished by the products of the earth. During slumber, it absorbs the astrolite by immersion, and during waking by a kind of somewhat slow respiration. When the phenomena of natural somnambulism are produced, the plastic medium is surcharged with ill-digested nourishment. The will, although bound by the torpor of slumber, repels instinctively the medium towards the organs in order to disengage it, and a reaction of mechanical nature takes place, which, with the movement of the body, equilibrates the light of the medium. It is for that reason that it is so dangerous to wake somnambulists suddenly, for the gorged medium may then withdraw itself suddenly towards the common reservoir, and abandon the organs altogether. These are then separated from the soul, and death is the result. The state of somnambulism, whether natural or artificial, is then extremely dangerous, because in uniting the phenomena of the waking state and the state of slumber, constitute a sort of straddle between two worlds. The soul moves the springs of the particular life while bathing itself in the universal life, and experiences an inexpressible sense of well-being. It will then willingly let go the nervous branches which hold it, suspended above the current. In ecstasies of every kind, the situation is the same. If the will plunges into it with a passionate effort, or even abandons itself entirely to it, the subject may become insane, or paralyzed, or even die. Hallucinations and visions result from wounds inflicted on the plastic medium from its local paralysis. Sometimes it ceases to give forth rays, substitutes images condensed somehow or other to reality shown by the light. Sometimes it radiates with too much force, condenses itself outside and around some chance and irregulated nucleus, as blood does in some bodily growths. Then the chimeras of our brain take on a body and seem to take on a soul. We appear to ourselves radiant or deformed according to the image of the ideal of our desires or our fears. Hallucinations, being the dreams of waking persons, always imply a state of analogous to somnambulism, but in a contrary sense. Somnambulism is slumber, borrowing its phenomena from waking. Hallucination is waking, still partially subjected to the astral intoxication of slumber. Our fluidic bodies attract and repulse each other following laws similar to those of electricity. It is this which produces instinctive sympathies and antipathies. They thus equilibrate each other, and for this reason hallucinations are often contagious. Abnormal projections change the luminous currents. The perturbation caused by a sick person wins over to itself the more sensitive natures. A circle of illusions is established, and a whole crowd of people is easily dragged away thereby. Such is the history of strange apparitions and popular prodigies. Thus, I've explained the miracles of the American mediums and the hysterics of table-turners who reproduced in our own times the ecstasies of whirling dervishes, the sorcerers of Lapland with their magic drums, and the conjurer medicine men of savages arrive at similar results by similar proceedings. The gods or the devils have nothing to do with it. Madmen and idiots are more sensitive to magnetism than people of sound minds. It should be easy to understand the reason of that. Very little is required to turn completely the head of a drunken man, and one more easily acquires a disease when all the organs are predisposed to submit to its impressions and manifest its disorders. Fluidic maladies have their fatal crises. Every abnormal tension of the nervous apparatus ends in the contrary tension according to the necessary laws of equilibrium. An exaggerated love changes to aversion, and every exalted hate comes very near to love. The reaction happens suddenly, with the flame and violence of the thunderbolt. Ignorance then laments it or exclaims against it. Science resigns itself and remains silent.
Trace your name down the spine of the card. Gold ink bleeding through the cracks of my heart. 10 bright branches on a map in my hands. Every step that I take was already planned. Candles in a circle, cards face down, we breathe. Names I never speak out loud, arms, mirror in a cup of wine. Every symbol shakes my chest, draws a circle around my spine. I touch my fear so gently, laying